Hello everyone, welcome to the video course English File Pre-Intermediate 4th Edition, episode number 31, Unit 9, Part C. It's called Scream Queens. In this series of videos, I'm helping you go through this wonderful textbook. There are 5 parts in today's lesson. The first part is vocabulary, biographies, life events, and pronunciation of the sound like in horse. It's a good part to start with. Then follows reading. The reading is about 2 successful actresses, Janet Leigh and her daughter, Jamie Lee Curtis. The task is quite interesting one, you'll see. Part number 3 is grammar. You're going to have a look at the difference between the present perfect tense and the past simple. You can ask, again? This grammar topic is quite confusing, as you know, so it's better to practice it one more time. Then you're going to listen to an audio. The audio is about a famous father and a son. The last part is speaking and writing. It's all about how to tell or write a life story or a biography. So now I hope you have a picture of what this lesson is going to be about. But before we start, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who is supporting my channel, and remember, these lessons are available only because of you guys. So if you want to see more episodes, please join my Boosty or use donation alerts. You can find all the links in the description. Check my Telegram channel, VK public group, and subscribe. It's very important. Let's start the lesson right now. Part number 1. Vocabulary and pronunciation, biographies, word stress, Our lives are full of events, yeah? From the moment we were born to the moment we died. An event. What is it? How to explain, yeah? It's something really important. Like a new chapter in your life story when you start school, get married, get your first job. These are examples of events. Now to the task. Task A. Number the events in what you think is a logical order. Compare with a partner. Do you agree? You see, number 1 is stated be born, and number 13, the last one, die. And between these events can be marry somebody or get married, go to primary school, have children, go to secondary school, go to university, leave school, separate, get a job, divorce somebody or get divorced, retire, fall in love, and die. Look, this is optional. You can change the order here whatever you like, but you must follow some you must follow some logic. So you can't say like number 1 be born and then go to university, yeah? It doesn't make any sense. Now try to number the events, learn new vocabulary if it's new for you, of course, and then we continue. Part B. Look at the highlighted words in the list above, and which syllable is stressed, listen and check. Actually, just listen and repeat the words.
9.12. Marry somebody. Get married.
Go to primary school.
Have children.
Go to secondary school.
Go to university.
Separate.
Divorce somebody. Get divorced.
Retire.
Part C. Listen and repeat the words and sound. Practice.
9.13.
Horse, or, born, divorced, fall,
Part D. Practice saying these words. Circle the ones with the O sound. These sounds can be confusing, yeah, don't worry. I always say that pronunciation, of course, is important, but if you pay too much attention to it, you'll go crazy. I advise you just to listen to the words and practice saying them.
9.14.
more,
Work.
world,
Small.
walk,
Worse.
talk,
Ball.
form,
Bought.
for,
Word.
Part A. Look at the photos of Janet Leigh and her daughter and read the introduction. Have you seen any of their films? Okay, now you're going to read a text about two actresses, Janet Leigh and Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm not sure that you have heard of them, but maybe it can be the case. By the way, in the black and white photo, Jamie Lee Curtis, on the left, is holding a photo of her mother in the famous shower scene from the Hitchcock film Psycho. Now let's read the introduction together. Like mother, like daughter. Janet Leigh, 1927-2004, was one of film director Alfred Hitchcock's favorite actresses and was in more than 50 films and many TV series. Her daughter, Jamie Lee Curtis, she was born in 1958, is also a successful actress. Look, let's have a couple of words about the title. Like mother, like daughter. It means the daughter is doing the same as her mother did, or to be precise, making a career in acting. They're both actresses. I'd like to tell you more facts, but since I'm not a fan of film industry and cinema, I know little about actors and actresses. So, let's move on to the task. Let's look at it. Task B. Read 10 paragraphs about the lives of the two women. In pairs, decide which 5 are about Janet Leigh, you see GL, and which 5 are about Jamie Lee Curtis, JLC. 3 letters. If you wonder, how on earth could I do it? I have no idea who these actresses are. Is it possible to do this task for me? And look, yes it is. It's possible. Let me give you a little clue how to do it. Pay some attention to this. GL, or the mother, is not with us. She's dead. And GLC, her daughter, is alive. And there is a significant difference how we describe life events of a person who is dead and of a person who is still alive. Maybe you will notice it while reading the text. Check your English intuition. Do this task. Paragraph 1. She had 2 children from her 3rd marriage to actor Tony Curtis. The marriage lasted 11 years. She then married again, and this marriage lasted for the rest of her life. Paragraph 2. She has been in many different kinds of films, including the comedies Trading Places, A Fish Called Wanda, and True Lies, for which she won a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy. She has also starred in the comedy horror TV series Scream Queens. In one episode, she recreated the famous scream from Psycho. Paragraph 3. She has been married for more than 20 years to actor, screenwriter, and director Christopher Guest. She became Lady Hayden Guest when her husband became Baron Hayden Guest after the death of his father. Paragraph 4. She was married 4 times. At the age of 15, pretending to be 18, she married 18-year-old John Kenneth. They got divorced 4 months later. Paragraph 5. She has written several best-selling children's books. She says she finds the inspiration for her writing all around her, in the experiences of her children, her godchildren. One is actor Jake Gyllenhaal, her friends, and of course in her own life. Paragraph 6. She is a fan of World of Warcraft and has been to events such as Comic-Con and BlizzCon. Paragraph 7. Her most famous role was a victim in Psycho, for which she won the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actress and received an Oscar nomination. However, she was traumatized by the iconic shower scene, and for the rest of her life she never had showers, only baths. Paragraph 8. She is close friends with actress Sigourney Weaver. In an interview, she admitted that she has never watched Weaver's film Ellen the whole way through because she was too scared. Paragraph 9. She was in 5 films including Houdini with Tony Curtis, and also starred opposite Frank Sinatra and Paul Newman. Paragraph 10. She wrote 4 books. The first, the memoir, There Really Was a Hollywood, became a New York Times bestseller. Давайте теперь с вами переводить данные 10 абзацев. GL первый – это у нас мама. Она имела 2 детей с ее 3-го брака от актера Тони Кертиса. Этот брак длится, этот брак длился 11 лет. Затем это потом, затем она вышла замуж снова. И этот брак длился for the rest of her life. Вот это вот the rest of – это оставшаяся часть ее жизни. Есть у нас вот такой вот момент. Второе у нас – дочка GLC. Она была в различных или во множестве различных видов фильмов, включая комедии, здесь они просто перечислены. И вот, например, была такая комедия True Lies, за которую она выиграла, получается, «Золотой глобус» награда. Это дословно «Золотой глобус» награда за, получается, в номинации «Лучшая актриса в мюзикле или комедии». Она также, к тому же, смотрите, вот это слово starred, ни в коем случае не путайте со словом started, тут даже нету буквы T в середине. Это образовано от слова star, звезда. Это имеется в виду, в английском есть отдельный глагол для того, чтобы сниматься в главной роли. То есть starred, она по сути снялась в главной роли в комедийном хорроре сериала, то есть сериал комедийный хоррор, грубо говоря, который называется Scream Queens, дословно «Кричащие королевы». И в одной серии она recreated, это воссоздала, то есть снова воссоздать, что-то снова сделать, известный крик, получается, из фильма Psycho. Psycho — это псих, грубо говоря. Идем дальше. 3. GLC, снова дочка. Она была замужем более чем 20 лет за актером, писателем и, получается, режиссером Кристофером Гестом. Она стала леди Hayden Guest, имеется в виду, то есть знатного рода, когда ее муж стал бароном. То есть, грубо говоря, он получил этот статус, это их фамилия, и она стала автоматически леди, а он бароном, после того, как умер его отец, after the death of his father. Вот такие вот дела. Она у нас, оказывается, аж высокая леди. Так, 4. Мама. GL. Она была замужем 4 раза. Когда ей было 15 лет, она притворялась, что ей 18, она вышла замуж за 18-летнего Джона Кеннета. Затем они развелись 4 месяца спустя. 5. GLC, это у нас дочка. Она написала несколько бестселлеров, то есть детских книг, которые хорошо продавались. Она говорит, что она находит the inspiration, это вдохновение, то есть она находит вдохновение на свою писательскую работу. All around her — это все, что вокруг нее. Из этого она черпает вдохновение, если вот так вот перефразировать. То есть она находит вдохновение в опытах ее детей, то есть имеется в виду то, что они пережили. Дальше ее, не совсем уверен, как это по-русски, godchildren — это как крестники, наверное. То есть она крестная мама для каких-то детей. И один из вот этих крестников ее, Джек Джилленхол, тоже актер. Ее друзей и, конечно же, в ее собственной жизни. Есть вот такой 5 абзац. Дальше, 6. GLC — это дочка. Она является фанаткой World of Warcraft, это игра известная, и была на множестве мероприятий, таких как Comic-Con и BlizzCon. Это просто название мероприятий. 7. Мама. GL. Ее самая известная роль была жертвой в фильме «Псих», за который она выиграла опять вот этот «Золотой глобус», награду. Не буду дословно переводить, на самом Golden Globe Award, просто название награды. Supporting Actress — это как актриса второго плана, то есть, да, актриса второго плана, и получила номинацию на Оскар, получается. Однако она была травмирована, iconic, как бы перевести, такой знаковый, можно так сказать, великой знаковой сцены в душе. И всю свою оставшуюся часть жизни, то есть for the rest of her life, всю оставшуюся часть ее жизни, она никогда не принимала душ, а только в ванны. 8. GLC — это дочка. Она является близкой подругой с актрисой Сигурни Вива, да, и в интервью она признала это, admit, это что-то признать, что никогда не смотрела фильм вот этой актрисы, Alien — это «Чужой», по-моему, the whole way through, то есть имеется в виду до конца. Вот как пройти игру до конца, посмотреть фильм до конца, прочитать книгу до конца, пожалуйста, вот вам фраза the whole way through. Потому что она была слишком напугана. Дальше, 9 абзац. У нас мама, да, GL. Она была в 5 фильмах, которые включали в себя Гудини с Томом Кертисом, и также снялась в главной роли, как starred opposite, то есть снялась наряду или снялась с вот такими вот актерами здесь. То есть, я так понимаю, все эти 3 были в главной роли. Она и вот эти 2. Или вот эти 2, да. Абзац 10. Мама. Она написала 4 книги. Первая — это мемуары. Давайте не будем переводить. There really was a Hollywood. Это просто название книги. Точно не уверен, как это переводится. Вроде «Когда-то был настоящий Голливуд» или «Там правда был Голливуд». И вот эта вот книга, получается, стала бестселлером по версии New York Times. То есть и этой газеты, известной довольно. По переводу теперь все. Да, текст был запутанный, сложный, но, надеюсь, разобрались, можно идти дальше. The key is this. If a person is alive, we mostly use the present perfect to show that a person has an experience. In case of dead people, we speak about them or write about them using the past simple. If you solved that mystery while reading, let me say, good job. If you didn't, don't worry, let's dive deeper into that topic. The present perfect versus the present simple. Now listen to the examples given here.
9.15. 1.
How long was Janet Leigh married to Tony Curtis?
She was married to him for 11 years.
How many books did she write?
She wrote 4 books.
2.
How long has Jamie Lee Curtis been married?
She's been married since 1984.
What kind of books has she written?
She's written children's books.
Let's read the rules. Number 1. We use the past simple to talk about a finished period of time in the past. Janet Leigh and Tony Curtis are dead, so not like she has been married to him for 11 years. It's wrong. We can use for with the past simple for a finished period of time in the past as well. Number 2. We use the present perfect with for and since to talk about our unfinished period of time from the past until now. Jamie Lee Curtis is still alive and still married. Compare the past simple and the present perfect. Jack was married for 10 years. Jack isn't married now. He is divorced or dead. Jack has been married for 10 years. Jack is married now. He got married 10 years ago and he's still married. You see how it works? Yeah. I know it can sound weird to you. I hate explaining grammar rules, and instead, I want you to understand it by looking at the exercises and examples. Now let's look at some practical things and exercises. Exercise A. Circle the correct form. She was ill since May or she's been ill since May. Look, pay attention to this. Since, I mean the word since shows that something is unfinished, always unfinished. With since, we use only the present perfect. With for, it's a different situation. Be careful with for. So, you see, number 1, Martin left school 2 years ago, or Martin has left school 2 years ago. Here you choose the first option, just the past simple, because it is exact time in the past. Martin left school 2 years ago. Look, this exercise can be difficult, but it's okay, just try to do it. And part B, complete with the present perfect or past simple. Now you need to choose the tense and then to put it in the correct form. Like, where does your brother live? In Verona. How long? You see, how long has he lived there? Only for 6 months. And so on. You'll try to do this. Now do these exercises and then check yourself. Before we do these exercises, I'd like to say a couple of words. This topic, the past simple versus the present perfect, is very complicated. It can take a year, maybe 2 years to master it. So just keep going. And if you feel angry or irritated that you can't understand everything about that and you confuse it, it's okay. Just keep going, and after a year or 2 years, you will master it. Believe me, it's complicated, but after some practice, it will become easier. Now, let's start. Exercise A. Circle the correct form. As I mentioned earlier, we use since only with the present perfect. So here is she has been ill since May, the only option here. Number 1. You see here we have 2 years ago, so it's just an action in the past, or the action in the past. So we use here the past simple. Martin left school 2 years ago, because it was in the past, it finished. We don't need the present perfect here. Number 2, I've lived in Cardiff for 2 years, then I moved to, and the name of the place. Look, it's finished action in the past. This person isn't living in Cardiff anymore. So we just use past simple. I lived in Cardiff for 2 years. Next, number 3. Anna was or Anna has been in this company since April. Here it's easy. You see the word since and you choose the present perfect. Anna has been in this company since April and she's still working there at this moment. Number 4. My sister has had her baby yesterday. Look, there is a word yesterday. It's a marker of the past simple, so we use this tense. My sister had her baby yesterday. Number 5. I work in a travel agency, and look, maybe I've worked there for 20 years. It means this person is still working there, so it's unfinished action. Number 6. The city changed, or the city has changed a lot since I was a child. Again, here we have a word since, or the word since, so we just use the present perfect. The city has changed a lot since I was a child. Next, number 7. They are divorced now. They were, or they have been only married for 3 years. It's a finished action, yeah? They're divorced, so they aren't married anymore. So we just use here the past simple. They were only married for 3 years. Now it's finished. Number 8. I've met Sandra when I have been on holiday in Italy. Look, it just a completed action, yeah? Finished action. When I was on holiday in Italy, I met Sandra, or I met Sandra when I was on holiday in Italy. It was in the past, it happened, and we use the past simple here. So that's all for the first task. Let's move on to the second one. Part B. Complete with the present perfect or past simple. Where does your brother live? In Verona. How long? Maybe here, if he is living there right now, yeah. How long has he lived there? Only for 6 months. There last September. Look, this action is finished, so we just use the past simple here. He moved there last September. Number 2. Look, there is one thing. Do you remember that the past simple is closely connected to some time expressions like ago, in the past, and so on? So when you see a question word when, it will be only the past simple. Like when did Picasso die? When did he die? In 1977, I think, in Paris. So this person is dead. We use the past simple. How long did he live in France? For a long time. He left Spain when he was 25. So I hope you remember it. When people are dead, we use only the past simple because all their actions actually are finished. And number 3, my brother and his wife get on very well. So it means they're still married, yes? So how long have they been married? They have been, or just they've been married since 1995. And remember it, they are still married. Look, unfortunately, English File isn't a perfect textbook. There is one extra word. We don't need be here. So we just use the word meet because we need to say they met at university. Really? What university? So it's a finished action. What university did they go to? Just remember they left their university. It means that they aren't studying there right now, yeah? They left it. So we use the past simple here. And now let's read the answers. Martin left school 2 years ago. I lived in Cardiff for 2 years, but then I moved to this place. Anna has been in this company since April. My sister had her baby yesterday. I work in a travel agency. I've worked there for 20 years. The city has changed a lot since I was a child. They are divorced now. They were only married for 3 years. I met Sandra when I was on holiday in Italy. Where does your brother live? In Verona. How long has he lived there? Only for 6 months. He moved there last September. When did Picasso die? In 1977, I think, in Paris. How long did he live in France? For a long time. He left Spain when he was 25. My brother and his wife get on very well. How long have they been married? They've been married since 1995. They met at university. Really? What university did they go to? Again, let me repeat this. If you find it extremely difficult, don't worry, you'll master it later. Because this grammar aspect of English, the present perfect versus the past simple, is very complicated. But we need to move on. Let's go. Part 4. Listening. A. Look at the photo of a famous father and his son. Do you know who they are? Do you know anything about them? Part B. Listen to a radio program about the son and check your answers. What's the son's real name? How well did he and his father get on? Now listen to this radio program and check your answers about who they are and answer these questions.
9.16.
Good evening and welcome to Family, the program where we discuss issues concerning parents and children. Last week we talked about children following their parents into the same job and whether children of celebrities have an easier life than other children. Today we're going to look at a celebrity's son who did something different and has been successful without the help of his famous father. Duncan Jones may not be a name you recognize if you're not a serious cinema fan. Duncan Jones is his real name, but when he was very young, he was called Zoe Bowie. His father was the famous singer David Bowie, whose real surname was Jones. Zoe was actually Duncan's middle name. Duncan was born in the UK in 1971. When he was 9, his parents divorced, and Duncan stayed with his father. He continued to visit his mother, David Bowie's first wife Angie, until he was 13. But their relationship wasn't a happy one, and he hasn't seen her since then. When he was a child, Duncan wasn't interested in music. His father tried and tried to get him to learn an instrument, the drums, the saxophone, and the piano, but Duncan just wasn't interested. He was more interested in sport and in films. So, his father bought him a little 8mm video camera, and he used it to make films with his Star Wars toys. After he left school, Duncan went to the London Film School and studied to be a film director. In the early years of his career, Duncan directed TV commercials, for example, for the fashion label French Connection and Heinz Ketchup, and he also worked on video games. In 2006, he made his first film called Moon, a science fiction drama, which was a great success. He won many awards for the film, including the prize for Best New British Director. Since then, he has made many more successful films, including Source Code, a science fiction thriller starring Jake Gyllenhaal, and Warcraft, based on the game World of Warcraft. Duncan has said that one of the reasons why he went into film directing was that he wanted to be behind the camera, not in front of it. As a child, there were often paparazzi around, which he hated. Even now, as a successful film director, he doesn't like being photographed. Although, as he says, "I've never needed to use my father's name," Duncan was very close to his father all his life and was with him when he died in January 2016. He said of him, "He was a wonderful father who encouraged me to be creative but different."
The answers are quite simple. They're a father and a son. And look, what's the son's real name? It's Duncan Jones, and his father David Bowie, yeah? And actually, they had a very good relationship. They they got on really well. Now let's get some vocabulary from the audio before you jump into the main task. Issues, concern, a celebrity, recognize, science fiction, drama, awards. Part C. Listen again. What is the connection between the sun and 1 to 9? Make notes. Zoe Bowie. His name when he was very young. You see, you need to say why it was mentioned in the audio. For example, why it was mentioned UK 1971. What is the connection? Or Angie, what is the connection with this name? Try to listen to this audio one more time and try to see the connection between the sun and these statements here. Let's do it.
9.16.
Good evening and welcome to Family, the program where we discuss issues concerning parents and children. Last week we talked about children following their parents into the same job, and whether children of celebrities have an easier life than other children. Today we're going to look at a celebrity's son who did something different, and has been successful without the help of his famous father. Duncan Jones may not be a name you recognize if you're not a serious cinema fan. Duncan Jones is his real name, but when he was very young, he was called Zoe Bowie. His father was the famous singer David Bowie, whose real surname was Jones. Zoe was actually Duncan's middle name. Duncan was born in the UK in 1971. When he was 9, his parents divorced, and Duncan stayed with his father. He continued to visit his mother, David Bowie's first wife Angie, until he was 13. But their relationship wasn't a happy one, and he hasn't seen her since then. When he was a child, Duncan wasn't interested in music. His father tried and tried to get him to learn an instrument, the drums, the saxophone, and the piano, but Duncan just wasn't interested. He was more interested in sport and in films. So, his father bought him a little 8mm video camera, and he used it to make films with his Star Wars toys. After he left school, Duncan went to the London Film School and studied to be a film director. In the early years of his career, Duncan directed TV commercials, for example, for the fashion label French Connection and Heinz Ketchup, and he also worked on video games. In 2006, he made his first film called Moon, a science fiction drama, which was a great success. He won many awards for the film, including the prize for Best New British Director. Since then, he has made many more successful films, including Source Code, a science fiction thriller starring Jake Gyllenhaal, and Warcraft, based on the game World of Warcraft. Duncan has said that one of the reasons why he went into film directing was that he wanted to be behind the camera, not in front of it. As a child, there were often paparazzi around, which he hated. Even now, as a successful film director, he doesn't like being photographed. Although, as he says, "I've never needed to use my father's name," Duncan was very close to his father all his life and was with him when he died in January 2016. He said of him, "He was a wonderful father who encouraged me to be creative but different."
Number 1. Zoe Bowie. His name when he was very young. Number 2. UK 1971. He was born in the UK in 1971. Number 3. Angie. His parents divorced when he was 9. He stayed with his father. He saw his mother Angie until he was 13, but hasn't seen her since then. Number 4. The drums, the saxophone, and the piano. His father tried to get him to learn the drums, the saxophone, and the piano. Number 5. An 8mm video camera. His father bought him an 8mm video camera, which he used to make films about his Star Wars toys. Number 6. The London Film School. He went to the London Film School and studied to be a film director. Number 7. Commercials for French Connection and Heinz Ketchup. He directed the TV commercials in the early years of his career. Number 8. Moon. He made Moon in 2006. It's a science fiction drama and it was very successful. He won the prize for Best New British Director. Number 9. Source Code and Warcraft. He made Source Code, a science fiction thriller, and Warcraft, based on the game World of Warcraft. They have both been successful. Number 10. Paparazzi. He wanted to be a film director because he wanted to be behind the cameras, not in front of them. He hated the paparazzi who were around when he was a child and doesn't like being photographed. Добрый вечер и добро пожаловать в Family, программу, где мы обсуждаем вопросы или проблемы, которые беспокоят родителей и детей. На прошлой неделе мы говорили про детей, которые следуют following their parents into the same job, можно перевести, которые как бы последовали за своими родителями в выборе работы, ну или делают такую же работу, как их родители. И whether в данном случае можно опустить при переводе, это можно держать в уме как частичку ли. То есть и разве у детей звезд более легкая жизнь, чем у других детей? Сегодня мы собираемся посмотреть на сына звезды, который сделал кое-что отличающееся, кое-что другое, и был очень успешным, без помощи его известного отца. Данкан Джонс может быть не то имя, которое вы узнаете, или которое, вы узнаете, если вы не очень такой серьезный фанат киноиндустрии. Данкан Джонс — это его реальное имя, но когда он был очень молодым, его называли Зоуи Боуи. Его отец был известным певцом Дэвидом Боуи, чья реальная фамилия была Джонс. А Зоуи был по факту средним именем Данкана. Смотрите, middle name можно воспринимать не как отчество, это немножко другой культурный аспект. В некоторых странах просто добавляется еще одно имя как бы посередине между фамилией и именем, и это у нас называется middle name. Такой вот культурный аспект, грубо говоря. Так, по нему нужно отдельно ролики делать. Идем дальше. Данкан, получается, родился в Великобритании в 1971 году. Когда ему было 9, его родители развелись. И Данкан остался со своим отцом. Он продолжил посещать свою маму, то есть первую жену Дэвида Боуи, Энджи, до тех пор, пока ему не стало 13. Но их отношения не были счастливыми, и он, получается, не виделся с ней с того времени, когда ему было 13. Когда он был ребенком, Данкан не был заинтересован в музыке. Его отец пытался, чтобы он заставить его, или чтобы он научился играть на инструменте, барабаны, саксофон и пианино, но Данкан просто не был в этом заинтересован. Он был больше заинтересован в спорте и фильмах. Вот поэтому его отец купил ему, получается, маленькую 8-миллиметровую видеокамеру, и он использовал эту камеру, чтобы снимать фильмы с его, получается, игрушками по вселенной Star Wars, «Звездные войны». После того, как он закончил школу, Данкан пошел, получается, у нас в эту лондонскую школу кинофильма и учился там на режиссера. В свои ранние годы в его карьере, получается, Данкан режиссировал рекламу по телевизору или рекламные ролики. Например, получается, для какого-то известного бренда, который занимался модой, то есть fashion — это мода, это просто название, и для кетчупа Хайнц. Вы его наверняка знаете, довольно известный кетчуп. И также работал, получается, над видеоиграми. В 2006 он сделал свой первый фильм, который назывался «Moon». Это у нас был, научно-фантастическая драма. Я не ошибаюсь, как-то это называл психологическая драма, там у него в жанрах стояла, которая заимела хороший успех. Это прям дословно. Он выиграл множество наград за фильм, включая приз за лучший новый британский режиссер. Это опять же дословно. С того времени он сделал много успешных фильмов, включая вот это название Source Code. Это тоже научно-фантастический триллер. Starring можно опять перевести, в котором снимался в главной роли Джейк Джилленхол. И Warcraft, который был основан на игре World of Warcraft. Данкан сказал, получается, что одна из тех причин, почему он пошел в film directing, это как в режиссерство, было то, что он хотел быть позади камер, а не перед ними. Когда он был ребенком, то есть as a child, в детстве, часто были очень много папарацци вокруг, которых он ненавидел. И даже сейчас, являясь успешным режиссером, он не очень любит, когда его фотографируют. То есть это у нас такой пассив. He doesn't like being photographed. То есть он не любит, когда его фотографируют. Несмотря на то, как он обычно говорит, что мне никогда не нужно было использовать имя моего отца, Данкан был в очень близких отношениях с его отцом всю свою жизнь. И был с ним, когда он умер в январе 2016 года. Он про него сказал, что он был замечательным отцом, который вдохновил или побудил меня, encouraged, кстати, забыл добавить в список хорошее слово, то есть побудил, вдохновил меня быть креативным, но отличающимся, то есть другим, не такой, как его отец. Вот такая вот аудиозапись. Идем дальше. Part D. Do you think Jamie Lee Curtis and Duncan Jones have been successful because their parents were famous or because they're genuinely talented? Do you think it's more common for children to want to do the same job as their parents or to do something completely different? Before you can give your opinion, I'd like to share my thoughts with you. Actually, for me, it's difficult to answer. I think it's 50-50. Famous parents can give you a boost in your life, but it's not enough to become successful. You can get an excellent education, you can have the best teachers in the world, but if you aren't ambitious, and if you have no desire to become the one or someone who does well, I think you won't succeed. So you have to be genuinely talented. Speaking of the second question, do you think it's more common for children to want to do the same job as their parents or to do something completely different? I think it depends on the country you live in. If you have lots of opportunities like free education, government's programs, lots of courses, in that case, people don't follow their parents' path. But if there are almost no opportunities, and if you want to live a good life, you can copy your parents and do the same job because they can help you. And any help matters when you have no opportunities, yeah? Look, this topic is great. It's not like, what do you do in your free time, yeah? It's like an oral essay. Try to answer these questions using all your ideas and knowledge of life. You can even write it in the comment section if you wish, so as other people could read your ideas and have more examples. Good luck with this. Part 5, Speaking and Writing. Part A, think about an older person, a friend or a member of your family, who is alive and who you know well. Prepare to answer the questions below about their life and to tell your partner any other interesting information about them. So you see there is a set of questions, and it's one more good task to do. I hope you remember that you tried to do the similar task using A2 English, yeah, previously. Now you have better vocabulary, better sense how to use grammar, and now you can tell a story of a person you know. Let me give you an example, then you will do the same. And look, I didn't want to take anyone I know, so I just made up a person, and he doesn't exist, okay? Just my character. I imagined him. Let's take Bob, for example. He was born in 1990 in a small village named Present Simplovka. He was a quite active child and had a lot of hobbies and did a lot of activities. He learned to read quite early and he started being interested in a lot of things, especially how things in life are working and why is it working. What is the sun? Why is it shining? And so on. So he started school and did well there. After leaving school, he went to university to become an astrophysicist. He wanted to watch stars and cosmic objects. And he met his future wife at a ceremony of graduation and they got married soon. So, after a while, he became a professor and started teaching physics at university. After 5 years, he moved to present Perfectborg city and his life was a complete failure. He lived there for 4 years alone. Because of him drinking too much alcohol, his wife took their kids and left him. He lost his job because nobody wants to sponsor astrophysicists in his country. So he was unemployed. In his free time, he surfed the net and watched YouTube and cried. But then he suddenly remembered that he liked writing things. He found his diaries in his drawer and decided to use his notes to make videos for YouTube. After a while, he quitted drinking and focused on his new hobby. Now he's done it for 6 years. He has got a lot of subscribers and a good sponsorship. He is a well-known man. One respectable university in Europe offered him a position there. He has won a bunch of scientific awards for his discoveries. He's had a good life because instead of giving up completely, he found some energy to move forward. Oh my god, what a story! And that was actually awful of my side. But so, okay, now is your turn. You can tell about someone you know, and you can tell about a famous person, or you can just make up someone as I did. It's up to you. Now, tell someone's life story or biography using knowledge that you've got during today's lesson. Good luck with it. And now let's look at your homework tasks.
Nine point 3. 9C. Pronunciation B. 1,
Divorced.
2,
Married.
3,
Secondary.
4,
Primary.
5,
Children.
6,
Retire.
7,
University.
8,
Separate.
9.4. 9C. Pronunciation D. 1,
Let's go for a short walk.
2,
At school, I'm in Form 4.
3,
Your hair looks worse short.
4,
I have to do more work.
5,
You play squash with a small ball.
6,
She gave quite a long talk.
Теперь разбираем Unit 9C Scream Queens, кричащие королевы. И тут у нас есть цитата. In films, the director is God. In documentaries, God is the director. Ё-моё, то есть в фильмах режиссер выступает в качестве бога, а в документальных, получается, бог и сам режиссер. Ну, есть в этом какой-то прикольный смысл, но ладно. То есть документальные фильмы, они имеются в виду, они все срежиссированы самим Господом Богом, грубо говоря. Ну ладно. Ну и цитаты. Ладно, поехали. Первая часть. Vocabulary, biographies. Слова, биографии. Соотнесите 1 с 8 вот с этими буквами, чтобы были предложения. Ага. То есть, например, My grandfather was born in 1945. Мой дедушка родился в 1945. He went, получается, he went marry, job. Тут только одно подходит. He went to primary school when he was 5. Он пошел в начальную школу, когда ему было 5 лет. Дальше, he fell. Ну, fell подходит только in love with my grandmother at school. Он влюбился в мою бабушку в школе. Так, he left. Тут подходит he left school in 1962. Он закончил школу в этом году. Пятое. He got, я так понимаю, he got a job when he was 17. Он получил работу, когда ему было 17. Дальше он и моя бабушка, получается, got married в этом году. Идет по логике 1968. Дальше they had 3 children. У них было 3 ребенка. И в конце он вышел на пенсию, когда ему было, свой 65-й день рождения. То есть вот этот. He retired on his 65th birthday. Вот как-то так. Довольно простое упражнение. Так, идем дальше. Заполните предложение пропущенными словами, используйте прошлое время там, где это необходимо. Ну ладно. I think my grandmother is about 70. but I can't remember exactly when she was born. Мгм. Bob and Sue's marriage wasn't happy. They separated in 2017 and got divorced a year after. Смотрите, я это писал на уроке. Что такое separated? Это, как вам так объяснить? Это когда люди уже, дословно разделенные. Это когда люди официально все еще как бы в браке, но живут по разным местам. А got divorced — это вот именно развестись, то есть официально по документам.